Hello, fellow readers. This is Shona with One Lollipop Life, and I wanted to do a August book haul. And apparently somebody went a little bit crazy between the book outlet sale at the end of the month and the Barnes & Noble blowout sale. Typically at the Barnes & Noble blowout sale, there's never really any books that I'm that interested in, but this haul, actually, I had to restrain myself, and I'm not really sure I did a good job. So this is an unusual month for me for acquisitions of books, so much so that I think I might have to put myself on a book ban next month. I was kind of a lunatic in my buying. I'm totally gonna admit it. So we'll go through it one by one. Actually, there's one here that I forgot to put in here, but we will go through it one by one. So I'm gonna start with my book outlet sale. So I have been really enjoying reading some backlist titles of some authors that I have already read or some that I'm interested in. So that's what I love about book outlet, is a lot of times I can pick up some of those backlist items. So one of the first books I got was Soul of an Octopus by Celine Montgomery. Now, one of my best books so far this year was How to Be a Good Creature, a Memoir in 14 Animals by Celine Montgomery. She's a conservationist and nature writer. And actually one of the animals in that How to Be a Good Creature book was this octopus. And she'd written a whole book about it. So, and it's actually one of the animals, there were two in that book that, you know, made me a little teary-eyed, and the octopus story in there was one of them. So I picked this one up to read. I'm going to read all about the octopus and the connections that Celine makes with this octopus. So that was number one. We'll go into general fiction. Fiona Davis, who actually I have never read Fiona Davis. I have a couple of her books. I'm very interested in her and her writing. I've heard great things about it, so I saw the address on sale and I picked it up, and I believe this is the one that takes place in the famous hotel in New York, the Dakota, I believe it is. Anyway, so I understand that she's just really good about writing those sense of place and those historical landmarks, and this is one of those. So the address, Fiona Davis, from the book outlet sale. Snowflower and the Secret Fan by Lisa C. Now, I read quite a bit by Lisa. I've read T-Bird of Hummingbird Lane, and then she had like a duology of Shanghai Girls and another one. There was two of them kind of in that series. And I really enjoy her books. And I've actually heard from people that I trust book recommendations from, that this is their favorite. So I'm looking forward to it. And it's nice and skinny, so I can probably be able to knock this out in a day or a weekend easily. So I'm looking forward to that one. Diane Chamberlain, for some reason, I've seen a lot of buzz about this particular one, The Dream Daughter. So this takes place back in the Vietnam era, I believe. And a young woman is widowed by the war. Her baby has a heart defect, and she's told that nothing can be done, but her brother-in-law, a physicist with a mysterious past, tells her that perhaps there might be a way to save her life. So I'm interested in that one. I've actually heard some really good things about the author in general in this book in general. Mystery thrillers, I'm not real sure. You know, this is a genre that I don't usually gravitate towards, so I'm not sure why or necessarily what drew me to some of these. Riley Sager, Final Girls. Obviously, Lock Every Door is a new recent release that everyone seems to love, and everyone just seems to have very good things to say about Riley's books. So it was on the book outlet sale. I picked it up. I got Lock Every Door last month, or maybe this month. Oh, I actually did pick it up this month from Book of the Month Club. Anyway, so there we go, Final Girls. I'm not real sure if it's general fiction or a mystery thriller. I Found You by Lisa Jewell, and the premise looks very interesting. A man shows up on the beach, doesn't remember anything. A woman takes him in. She's a single mom. Meanwhile, this is in Britain, and meanwhile back in London, a woman's husband goes missing, newlywed. She's worried about him, and the police soon tell her that the man she married never truly existed. It sounds like it's kind of like a dual time frame. 23 years earlier, there's Gray and Christy Ross are teenagers on a summer holiday with their parents, and on that holiday, everything's kind of going normal until a young man starts paying extra attention to Christy, and something about him makes Gray uncomfortable. Christy and Gray are brother and sister, and it's more than just brotherly protection, apparently. So who's the man on the beach? Where's Lily's missing husband? And whatever happened to the man who made a lasting impression on Gray? So I found you, Lisa Jewell, picked that one up. Unwanted Guest, I believe I picked this one up because I have a buddy read with 2 other folks. We have a little group, online group chat, and this was on our list. So I pick up any of those books that come on that are on that we want to read as a buddy read list. I just pick them up. So I have them. And so Unwanted Guest, Sherry LaPena. I didn't pick it. I don't know much about it. It's on my buddy read list with my reading buddies. Really wanted to read this for quite a long time. Bluebird by Attica Lott. Attica is a Texas author, and this book actually takes place in Texas. Attica is a woman of color, and she is writing about a Black Texas Ranger, and I think it's based on the first Black Texas Ranger in Texas. But anyways, it's a mystery, and the follow-up to that book is coming out in September, so I'm really excited. So I wanted to get this read, and then go right into the next one, the follow-up. So that was my book outlet haul, Barnes & Noble haul. So I've got some nonfiction in there. I have mentioned that I am a true crime addict, and there were actually 2 books that were on my list, my I want to read list on the book haul, and that is Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered by Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark, and they are the hosts of the podcast My Favorite Murder, and my daughter and I like to listen to that. So picked up that. It was 50% off the Barnes & Noble, and I had some Barnes & Noble gift cards on top of it. So between the discount, my gift cards, actual dollars spent, probably wasn't that much. Chase Darkness with Me by Billy Jensen, and he is the host of one of the true crime podcasts, I think Jensen and Holes. It's not one that I listen to regularly. I do listen to it, but not regularly. He's a journalist who spent 15 years investigating unsolved murders. Every story he wrote, it says, had one thing in common. They didn't have an ending, and the killer was out there. Well, he was friends with the crime writer who wrote I'll Be Gone in the Dark, or who was writing I'll Be Gone in the Dark. And so after the writer's death, he decided he was going to start investigating these murders himself, past the point where the cops gave up. That's basically what this is about. So I'm interested in this. Billy Jensen, I'm very disappointed because he was at my local independent bookstore talking about the book and signing it, and I missed it. I can't remember why. Probably was on the road for work. Anyways, it's my second book. 2 mystery thrillers. Never Have I Ever by Jacqueline Jackson. I really like Jacqueline Jackson, so I picked that book up. It was on their book haul sale. It basically, my understanding is it opens at a book club. Believe it or not, it opens at a book club, and there's a new person that comes to this book club, and this is very loose. I mean, very loose. So if I get it wrong, I apologize. A new person comes in, and she starts a game that the intent is to lure everybody's secrets out of it and out of them. And it becomes pretty clear to the host of this book club that this person knows her deepest, darkest secrets, and she'll do anything to keep it. So that's the very loose premise. Never Have I Ever, Jacqueline Jackson. Lady in the Lake by Laura Lippman. I've actually not read Laura Lippman. I wanted to read Sunburn last year, and I just never got around to it. But I listened to one of my podcasts, talked about it, and really talked me into it. It takes place in and around Baltimore, and I love that area of the country. I'm really looking forward to that. I was excited about this one. This was a book called The Set of Her Moonstone. It's a Perving mystery novel, and I read her novel last year, The Widows of Malabar Hill, and I loved it. And basically, Perveen Mystery is loosely based on the very first woman lawyer in Bombay, India back in the 20s. She's actually a solicitor. She can't try. She's a woman, can't try trials. But anyways, but because she's a woman and she is educated lawyer, she does have access in this part of the world that men lawyers would not have. So she uses that. And I've really been looking forward to this one. I loved Widows of Malabar Hill. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think that's all I got from the Barnes & Noble book haul. I did pick up this one because I'm reading this with my church group, White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism. It's kind of been in my radar. Actually, the one that's really been on my radar is So You Want to Talk About Race. But since our group is at my church is talking about, it's like a social justice group, I went ahead and picked that up too. I got a couple gifts. Perfect Stranger by Megan Miranda. This came from one of my book buddies. We're actually reading it. Don't know anything. Never read Megan. Actually, I think I just read one by her. I think All the Missing Girls was by her. But anyway, so that's on our list, or to be read list with my book buddies. So that was a gift. Aisha at Last, and I'm actually looking forward. This is a young adult. It's a Pride and Prejudice retelling, I believe. And so looking forward to that one. Took a trip to the used bookstore and I picked up a couple books that are on my reading buddy list. I've never read it. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That is on our list to read as in my reading buddy group. Fahrenheit 451, which I've never read. Like, I don't know who my English teachers were in high school and junior high and college. Like, I didn't read any of these. So anyways, that's on my list with my reading buddies. Pick those up at the used bookstore. The Last of August, it's a YA mystery. It's a Sherlock retelling. And I read the first book in this series, A Study in Scarlet, I believe it was. Or Study in Charlotte. Yeah, Study in Charlotte. Anyways, really enjoyed it. So this is the second one, The Last of August, and it's a continuation of their adventures. Picked that up at the used bookstore. I placed an order with Page One Books for the Modern Mrs. Darcy Fall Book Club selections, which is Celine by Peter Heller. And I think I've told you guys that I absolutely love The River by Peter Heller, so I'm looking forward to this one. Charlie Lovett's The Bookman's Tale. Never heard of it before this. It says a novel of obsession. Looks like it's like a mystery, so reading that for the Modern Mrs. Darcy Fall Book Club. And then I love this cover, A Curious Beginning by Deanna Rayborn. And don't know much about this either, but again, it was for the Modern Mrs. Darcy Book Club. And I think I mentioned before, I don't always necessarily get all the books read for that club during the month, but and some of the books I don't like, so I don't even finish them. But I picked those up, got those from Page One Books. The book of the month selections. And I have 2 accounts. I don't always use them, but I did this month. I picked up Bryn Greenwood's The Reckless Oath We Made. She was the author of All the Ugly Wonderful Things. And I've actually heard really good things about this one. So I'm really looking forward to this. The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. I like big books in the fall and the winter, so this just seemed to be logical. I heard emotional-wise, things like that. It compares to A Little Life. So pick that up. Heard you can really connect with the characters in here. Riley Sager's Lock Every Door. AJ Finn's Women in the Window. I'm going to read that with my son. We decided we were going to read this together. And the Whisper Man, Alex North. Now, as you guys can see, there's an awful lot of mystery thrillers in here, and it's not a genre I typically gravitate towards. I know I do like crime fiction, but I think the fall is kind of influencing that a little bit. And I have picked up and read some good ones lately, so I think that that's what's influencing that. Actually picked up, and I'm excited about this one. So this past month, I tackled Pride and Prejudice. I got it read. I'll talk about that on a different video. But I'm doing a buddy read with a friend of Little Women, and we're starting September 1st, and we're just going through December. We're just doing a little bit every week to finish right before the movie comes out. So that's my book haul. I would love, especially some of these backlists, to know on some of these backlist titles if you've read any of them, if you liked them, which ones maybe you didn't like. And are you looking forward to any of the ones in here that maybe some of the newer ones you haven't read that are on your list? This is a huge, huge haul for me. Between gifts and the sales and book of the month, kind of went crazy. I am going away later in September, so I expect to get a lot of reading done, but this is huge. It's not normal. It's almost, my daughter's like, oh my God, Mom, you're a lunatic. But it is what it is. So that is what I picked up in August. Thank you. Please, 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 I would love for you to like and comment on my video and subscribe. That would be awesome. And I will talk to you later. Bye.